Okay, the bomb that you've dropped on us today is that basically the original concept came from the pulpit, came from the pulpit. Preachers.
Came from preachers.
What's made it so successful?
Well, John Adams, one of the guys, we talked about the fact that John Adams was one of the prolific writers in the American Revolution. John Adams, in his writings, when he was asked who's behind American independence, he said, if you want to know who's behind American independence, he said, you have the Reverend Dr. Samuel Cooper and the Reverend Jonathan Mayhew, and you also have the Reverend George Whitefield, the Reverend Charles Chauncey, and we're going, who are they? Americans might have heard of George Whitefield. The chances that they've heard of Charles Chauncey or Jonathan Mayhew or Samuel Cooper are slim to none.
Wow.
And yet the patriots themselves, John Adams said these are the guys behind independence. Matter of fact, this is one of the sermons that led to independence. This is a sermon by the Reverend Charles Chauncey. He's cited by Adams as one of the guys. This is from 1765.
Wow.
This is a sermon on the Stamp Act. The Stamp Act that the British had done, and which eventually led to the Boston Tea Party. Said, here's a preacher standing up and saying, no, 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 the Stamp Act is not biblical. Here's what the Bible says about taxes. This is an anti-biblical tax. It means going after taxes. Well, when the Stamp Act got repealed in 1765, and by the way, part of the repeal of the Stamp Act, we learn in our textbooks that Benjamin Franklin went to Parliament in Great Britain to argue against the Stamp Act. What we don't hear is the person who went with them into Parliament to argue against the Stamp Act. That person was the Reverend George Whitefield. So the two people you have arguing against the Stamp Act, Ben Franklin, good guy, also George Whitefield, preacher of the gospel. Textbooks don't talk about Whitefield. Historical documents are clear.